Hello all, welcome back. So now we have reached to our third topic of chapter 5. So the topic is industry analysis. In this we'll talk about various types of industries available in rural areas and what is the life cycle they follow and what is the purpose of this industry analysis for the industries. So let's begin. So industry analysis in a business function is a business function which is completed by the owners of the business and the other individuals for assessing the current environment of the business. So basically, industry analysis is a research mode or analysis mode in which you see where does your industry stand in among all the industries which are working in the business. So let's see the classifications of industries. So these are the four types of industries which are available. Firstly, growth. So a growth industry has some special features like high earning rates and growth expansion. This is independent of business cycle. And then cylindrical industry. So profitability and growth of this industry moves among the business cycle. Then a defensive industry is that the which defies the business cycle movement, and this industry expands and earns income in the period of depression too, under the government's umbrella and related to protection, and it is counter cylindrical as in nature. Then cylindrical growth industry. This type of industry is cylindrical and growing at the same time. In this technological change and introduction of new model helps the industry to be cylindrical and as well as growing at the same time. So next, let's talk about industry's life cycle. So there are four stages in this. First, let's see, pioneer stage. So in this stage, demand of a product is much promising in this particular stage, and technology of product is lower. So it's just the starting stage. Then a rapid growth stage. So in this stage, there is appearance of the surviving firms from pioneer stage, companies which to a competition and grew very strongly among the market share and the financial performance. Then maturity and stabilization stage. The growth is moderate and the growth rate with amongst equal to industry's growth or GDP growth. So this is the stage where the company or industry is stabilized. Then declining stage. So in this stage, the demand for particular product as well the earnings of companies decline, and when there are a change in technology and consumer preference, then the industry reaches this stage. Next, let's talk about the factors and purpose of industry analysis. So firstly, if we talk about the factors to be considered in industry analysis, so firstly, growth of industry. So industry's historical performance in growth terms must be analyzed. Then profitability and cost structure. The structure of cost affects the profitability in every firm, so in this structure should be made focus on. Then nature of product. The product being produced by various industries are required by the consumers and also the other industries. So the investor is required to analyze condition of the related industries which are engaged in good production, and also end users of the industry as finding out demands for the industrial goods. Then nature of competition. So this factor determines whether for a particular product profitability and price or concern descripts of companies. So supply might arise for the multinationals and indigenous producers. Then government policy. So government policy related to the industry affects nerve of the industry, and this affects differs amongst the industries. Then labor. The labor available in a particular industry plays an important role. So the trade unions which are operating in the particular industry, and the operating mode of these unions impact the productivity of labor and also the modernization of the industry. Then research and development. For various industries, for surviving the competition in national as well as international market, production and product process are required to be competitive technically. Then what is the purpose of industry analysis? So the purpose is basically that industry analysis could be used for predicting performance, the further performance of the in the future. Then positioning of the business. So during the planning phase in the business, the businessman would be able to position themselves in the market if they understand the working of the market. Then identification of opportunities and threats. So during the analysis of industry, there would be many opportunities that would be known, and many threats that will be related to the business as a person is doing. Next, let's talk about the types of industry analysis. So there are three types of industry analysis. First is the competitive focuses module. Next is the broad factor analysis, pest analysis. Then lastly, SWOT analysis. So firstly, let's talk about the competitive forces model. In this model, these are the 5 forces which needs to be considered. Firstly, the intensity of rivalry in the industry. That is, the rivalry in the industry affects the competitive environment and also influences ability of the existing firms in achieving profitability. Then we have to see the threats and the new entrants in the industry, the bargaining power enjoyed by the suppliers and then buyers too, and the threat of substitute goods and services. Every goods and services have the threat of substitute in the industry. Next, let's talk about the broad factors analysis, that is pest analysis. So in this framework, which is highly useful in which one would gain understanding of environment within that operation are being performed. So for performing pest analysis, it is required to analyze these factors, that is political, economic, social and technological. So in political factors, we need to consider trade policies, tariffs, environmental regulations, taxes, labor laws, etc. Then economic factors would be that ability to access capital, GDP growth rate, interest rate, exchange rate, all this. Then social factors. There are some social factors which exist in society within which industry and business operates. Then technological factors. These factors include all the factors which deal with the various advancement of the development in the technology, which could change operation mode of business or industry, or even disrupt the industry entirely. Then lastly, we will talk about the SWOT analysis. So in this industry analysis type, SWOT is an acronym. It represents a framework which helps an industry entirely and industry to evaluate overall performance of the organization. So in this, these are the four boxes which emphasizes on strengths. So strengths represent the characters of business, which gives it some advantage over the competitors. Then weakness represent the characteristics of business which gives some disadvantage relative to the competitors. Then opportunities represent those elements of an environment which are external to the business. This allows a business official in performing and implementing strategies for making business a more profitable venture. Then threats represent those elements in an environment which are external to the business and which could potentially harm integrity or a profitability of the business. So we come to the end of the topic, topic 3 of the chapter. So you have to do a small activity in which you have to select any two companies for a particular from a particular sector, and discuss about the various stages of the how they have grown, how they started, then what all life cycle they followed, and now what, in which stage they are. So I hope you do this activity and get a better understanding of the topic. Thank you.